So, one thing I've noticed with our government is that they like to sneak things in on us. And it's not always completely snuck in on us because they'll very often do things like try to pass some kind of legislation. But when there's a lot of people objecting to that legislation, what do they do after that? They kind of seem like they forget about it, but then we see signs of that thing that they were talking about just popping up. Like they didn't forget about the legislation. And we can tell by looking at the example of the Twitter files scandal that what they would do if they couldn't directly violate our constitutional rights is to get the companies to do it for them. And then they could say that, oh, the companies have a right to deny people service or to decide what's on their platform. But what's really happening is that the government is behind the scenes threatening the companies or providing incentives to the companies or saying they will be punished collectively for allowing certain content. So, what that is really is it's censorship by proxy. And even when we uncover what's behind their reason for the censorship, such as everyone uncovering their reason behind why they wanted TikTok to go away, and that a certain country, Israel, was pushing for that, we still have them taking actions. But in this example, and these examples, they're taking actions very slowly with the hopes that people wouldn't notice that they were having their rights violated and having things taken away. And aside from what they've done with TikTok, which really is looking like a slow kill, we can look at what they've done with the whole issue of digital IDs. Because we've had other countries like Australia that announced to everyone that they were putting in digital IDs. But what do we have in our country? There hasn't been any announcement. But if you try to download any social media, what are we seeing? I've been noticing is whenever I try downloading a social media app, or if I've deleted it and I'm trying to re download it, it's asking me for all sorts of identifying information, such as my phone number, or a picture ID, or face age recognition. And some apps are also asking for a payment method, even though there's no reason to provide a payment method. And the reason they give for that is they need to verify that you're a real person to use their social media app. And I might not have been too concerned about that if we didn't have a government that's pretty much saying that they want to discriminate against people based on their ideology and all sorts of other things that sound pretty draconian and authoritarian. So, how are we supposed to trust that we can have freedom of speech on these social media apps when we have this government in cahoots with all of the tech companies that are hosting these social media apps? And now these companies want to know identifying information about who's saying what. So, although our government can have plausible deniability that they weren't behind these companies all of a sudden and all at once requiring this information, I'm going to say that's highly doubtful.